Hello, friends. Camera, stay. What is up, all of my patrons? How you guys doing? I am so stoked to share this video with you. For my East Coasters, I know this is a little late in the night, and if you are watching this like pretty soon after I post, the video may not be full quality, so wait. You've waited this long, you can wait a little bit longer. Anyway, I wanted to get on here, because I don't get enough opportunities to thank you guys all as I'd like to, as many opportunities. So I have to take the chance when I know you guys are going to be here, because I know you're watching this video. Whereas, not everyone's listening to the podcast or reading posts and stuff like that. So if you're here, that means you're a patron. That means you support this channel and you support what I'm doing. That means you enjoy what I create and you help make it all happen. So I just want to thank you for being with me and sticking through in this time of transition. A lot of things have been changing. A lot of things for me personally, like my personal life, especially the last couple years, everything has changed for me. And it's taking some getting used to, my videos, obviously one of the biggest changes, and I want you guys to know I am having so much fun making these. Like, I know that I've talked about how tough it is and how long it takes me, but I am having a blast. I've had so much fun making this video. It's a creative outlet I never really knew that I needed, and it's just so exciting. I'm learning something new every time, and I'm creating something, and I just sometimes think, like, when I'm 85 and sitting around having a beer, I can look back at all these and be like, yeah, I lived a good life, So anyway, I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, seriously. All of you guys that have stuck around. I know that it's not as enticing to some of you with less content, but I hope that you guys trust me, like everyone was here from the get-go enjoying what I was creating, and it was of my own, it was my choice what I made, and you guys dug it. I'm going to continue creating what I want to create, and right now this is what I'm really into, and this is what I'm passionate about, so this is the direction that I'm going, and I just, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I am so stoked to have you all along for the ride. So with that being said, enjoy the video. Oh, and massive shout out to Jordan Boostmaster for coming out and helping me film this one, riding with me, showing me around. So yeah, Jordan Boostmaster, one of the probably first ever mountain bike YouTubers I ever saw on the platform. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to that dude on YouTube right now. Okay, now watch the video.
Every once in a while, if we're lucky, we get the chance to do something, meet someone, or go somewhere that challenges our beliefs of what is possible.
I'll never forget my very first mountain bike ride ever when I experienced a moment just like this. I was with my buddy Tommy, and it wasn't long before we came to a massive hill that stopped us dead in our tracks. Being first timers, we figured the only natural conclusion was that we had taken a wrong turn, because obviously what we were looking at wasn't possible to ride on a bike.
Or at least that's what we thought. And it made sense. I mean, we had never seen anyone ride something like that before. Though this was enough to turn Tommy and I around, the pioneers of the North Shore mountain bike scene weren't so easily dissuaded. See, in the early 1980s, they didn't have any pre-existing trails to ride, or any previous riders to show them how. The mountain biking scene was still in its fledgling stages, and while the guys of Marin County, California were bombing gravel roads and building the first custom mountain bikes, it was here, deep in the lush forests of North Shore, Vancouver, that a group of dedicated riders began work on some of the first ever mountain bike specific trails. It all began with nothing more than the desire to get out of the city and into the woods on their bikes. However, the hiking trails on the mountain were too rough for the fully rigid bikes of the time, so builders like Digger, Moorside, and Kirkwood adapted. Using resources from the forest itself, they created large wooden ladder bridges, raised skinnies, and intricate rock paths to help navigate the rough mountainside via bike. Though these man-made features were born of pragmatism, it wasn't long before they evolved into, well, something more. Fueled by legendary riders the likes of Dangerous Dan, Mountain Bike Mike, and Wade Simmons, as abilities on the bike progressed, new possibilities for trails were unlocked. Where they previously saw a big slab, they now saw a sketchy rock roll. After the day Dangerous Dan discovered pack wheel drops, every big ledge became an opportunity. Looking at some of the features on the mountain, you can't help but to wonder what on earth they were thinking. But for these guys, it was the Wild West of mountain biking, and anything was possible. Eventually, word got out of what was happening on the North Shore, and these days, the once secretive trails are open to anyone that thinks they have what it takes, which is where I come in. Today, it's my turn to experience this legendary zone firsthand, and I'll be honest, I'm more than a little nervous. Luckily, I won't have to tackle this one alone. As with any new venture like this, it's great to have someone along who's familiar with the area. So I'm meeting up with none other than Jordan Boostmaster, mountain bike shredder and YouTuber OG.
Hello.
What's up?
If you were going to explain the North Shore to someone who had no idea, how would you describe it?
It can get janky. It's not afraid to elevate you off the ground, maybe through some like wooden stunts, wooden skinnies, ladder bridges. There's a lot of rock work. If you're like super good, you could clean some skinnies really well. If you're not as good at them, like for me even, I'm not very good at skinnies as much as I'd like to be. So some of them I can't quite clean yet, but...
Neither am I, but that's why we're out here.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe today I can improve.
With a description like that, I can already hear my parents giving me grief about not wearing enough protective gear. They'll be happy to hear that this time I finally listened. And looking back on it, so am I.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Why did I do that? I had it.
Okay, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. As we headed into the forest, I couldn't help but to think that this is exactly what I had always imagined the Pacific Northwest to be like. The forest with its towering trees, lush, damp forest floor, and sharp rays of sunlight fighting to poke through. It all felt almost mystical in a way. I noticed as we pedaled up that whoever named the trails out here must have a pretty good sense of humor, as the trail names I kept seeing tended to have whimsically misleading names not indicative of the danger ahead. Well, all except for this one. This one tells it how it is. Like Jordan, my goal for the day is to take advantage of this opportunity to get better at riding skinnies, which, in case you don't know, are really just any log or beam set up to ride a bike on to challenge balance and handling. The trails here do a good job of starting you out slow to get you warmed up. So for now, let's start with something manageable. Just something nice and easy.
Uh-oh. Oh no. I'm so bad. I panicked. I panicked. Okay, I need to do that.
Oh man, I told you guys I'm terrible at these. If this is any indication of things to come, I've got my work cut out for me today. Although I didn't get this one first try, I did at least learn my first important lesson of the day that would prove tantamount to my survival. The reason I failed at this very simple skinny was not because I wasn't capable, but because it caught me by surprise and caused me to panic. So, moving forward, I promised myself that, should I have any uncertainty in a feature, I would stop and look before I leap.
Gonna check myself before I wreck myself.
After the rough start, I regained my composure and was able to conquer a few more mellow skinnies, after which we began to work our way up to some more difficult ones that started to get quite a bit longer. Even though I was caught off guard by my first ever elevated skinny, I was actually able to keep my cool this time and sent it first go.
Oh, I didn't know what I was getting on.
This was hands down my longest and highest skinny to date, so needless to say, I was pretty stoked. Unfortunate for me, I let the victory get to my head and found myself on the receiving end of some humble pie shortly thereafter.
Okay, I got a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Let's pedal up it.
Oh my goodness.
I think we can. If we go in like an easy gear. Oh god.
Luckily, the tree was okay, and so was I. This was my second lesson of the day. The importance of staying focused on the task at hand. The thing is, I already knew this. I had even just talked about it right before dropping into our first trail of the day.
But once you drop into a trail, you have to be all there, all focused, or else something bad happens. And especially on trails like this.
And yet, I still fell prey to a careless error on a pretty easy feature because I didn't give it the respect it deserves. This is precisely why so many mountain bike accidents happen, not on the really crazy stuff that scares us, but on the stuff we've ridden 100 times and are super comfortable with. It's so much easier to lose focus on something that we think is harmless, and the moment we let our guard down, that's when they get us.
What just happened? I just stopped, I just had a brain fart.
But I'm not making that mistake again. Oh no. It was time for me to get in the zone, as things were only going to get more difficult from here, and the consequences higher. Something you should know about skinnies is that the term is used quite loosely, and out here, there are about as many different kinds of skinnies as Bubba has shrimp recipes. Yep, the builders out here know everything there is to know about the skinny business. Some skinnies were short, others real long. Some skinnies went straight, and some went down. Some went up, and even others did all three. There were super skinny skinnies, and big ol' fat skinnies. There were skinnies on the ground, skinnies in trees, and also some way up in the air. Occasionally, there were skinnies within other skinnies. And every now and then, I wasn't even really sure what kind of skinny I was on, or how it was gonna end. These skinnies were proving to be formidable opponents, deserving of every last ounce of focus I could muster. Sometimes, I'd find myself breathing a massive sigh of relief at the end of one, as I realized I had forgotten to breathe the entire time through.
Hell yeah.
Of all the myriad different kinds of skinnies I encountered on the trail, the ones I found the most difficult were the ones with turns on them. As if riding your bike across a narrow and often elevated sliver of wood wasn't already tough enough, these particular features up the ante by making you turn at some point along the ride, which was difficult for more than a couple of reasons.
Yeah, bud.
First off, in case I haven't mentioned, it had recently rained out there and the wood was all extremely slick.
Hey man, going nowhere fast.
Jordan and I discovered throughout the day that certain types of wood were actually slicker than others, and the reality was, there were certain features we just weren't going to be able to do because as soon as we started to pedal, turn, or brake, our tires would slide right out from underneath us.
It's too slick. Oh shit. You see what I'm saying?
One of the scariest aspects of turning on skinnies, though, is that you never really know where your rear wheel is tracking.
Yeah.
I was just really nervous. I didn't trust that my back wheel was actually going to get in there.
It's often a difference of mere centimeters between a successful run or an abrupt plunge to the forest floor.
Whoa.
Just take a look at this amazing feature Jordan and I came across on Mount Seymour. This feature is the epitome of all these difficulties rolled into one. In addition to the straight line option right down the middle, there is an infinitely more difficult line that weaves around the trees with 3 incredibly tight and slick turns, all before ending in a 6-foot drop. I'd like to personally thank whoever's idea this gem of a feature was, as it's not every day you come across a feature so playful and creative, yet challenging and terrifying all in one.
This is the type of stuff you come to the North Shore for.
Jordan and I tried our best to conquer this one, starting with the main line down the middle. I can't say I've ever ridden a skinny that ended in a drop like that, but it was actually really fun. The outside line though, well, that was a completely different story. Despite our determination, it kept getting the better of us. Though we weren't able to complete this particular skinny, at least we both learned very valuable lesson number 3 of the day. Knowing when to bail, both figuratively and literally. While attempting this one, both Jordan and I had our fair share of bails, which you better believe is a skill within itself. Going down with the ship may be the duty of a sea captain, but if you want to remain in one piece out here, you better learn when it's time to let go, as it's not a matter of if you're gonna fall, but when.
That spot.
You win some, you lose some. I've fallen on this
one too many times really awkwardly now. My knee.
The real kicker is, this wasn't even the craziest skinny we encountered.
Whoa. What's going on? This is the Mac Daddy of all skinnies.
But we'll get back to that in a minute. Skinnies aren't the only kind of feature native to this forest, by the way. The North Shore is also home to some absolutely mind-boggling rock features and some of the most harrowing tech lines I've ever seen. Some of the features we encountered were so inventive, so unique, and so challenging that I found myself rolling into them not sure what I was supposed to do or even if what I was looking at was possible.
What is this? What is this? Did you do this? Oh my God.
Personally, I found it equal parts exciting and terrifying that I could never predict what was around the next turn, and it really made me appreciate having Jordan with me to coach me through some of the tougher features. If I didn't have the luxury of first watching him try the notoriously janky Gangler feature out, I'm not so certain I would have given it a try at all.
I remember this feature. I've seen both Phil and Seth crash on this pretty hard. Oh, wow.
Okay, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if watching that actually made me more or less eager to try this out. But after chatting with Jordan and checking to make sure my chainring wasn't going to hang up, I decided to give it a go.
Holy sh! I'm not gonna lie, falling off of that skinny earlier was a little bit of a knock to the confidence. So when we got to this thing, I was very unsure, but now I did it and my confidence is right back up, so.
All right, enough janky rock stuff. Let's get back to our main objective because ahead of us is the mother of all skinnies. It was here on the upper oil can trail that we encountered the longest, meanest, most terrifying strips of connected wood yet.
Oh, what the heck? This looks gnarly.
This was the culmination of everything we've been working on. A feature that not even Jordan has been able to complete in the past.
So that's a pretty big fall. Oh, and then this is a drop. Oh, you go there? This is the ultimate challenge. Dude, we got this. We got to do this.
After scoping it all out, the only thing left to do was decide who was going to be the crash test dummy on this one. So, we did like any true gentleman would.
All right. Do you want to rock, paper, scissors for who goes first? All right, so if you win, do you go first? Or if you lose, do you go first?
Let's say, yeah, loser goes first.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ready? Just one and done.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I guess it had to be one of us. Here goes nothing.
Oh. That was good practice. Yeah.
Neither one of us got very far our first try, but we didn't let that discourage us. Turns out, the first part was cake, but that all changed very quickly once you got to the U-turn of death. Not only was this a really tight and difficult turn, but it was also directly followed by the highest consequence fall of the entire run. Though I wasn't able to breach the turn on my first 3 attempts, Jordan had better luck. And on his 3rd try, we had a massive breakthrough when he breached the turn.
You got it. You did it.
This was huge, as Jordan had never even made it past the U-turn before this. And now, he's completed one of the entire line start to finish.
Yeah, dude!
Seeing Jordan complete the turn confirmed that it was indeed possible, so I became more determined than ever. I had to get this.
Yeah.
After just a handful of practice runs each, both Jordan and I were starting to believe we might actually be able to conquer this thing. I was now consistently making it around the turn, down to the third section and past the tight tree, but then I was having a hard time making the second turn onto the fourth section, which was particularly skinny and slick. Remember rule 3 from earlier? Yeah. Uncertain with how many more falls our bodies and bikes could take and rapidly running out of light, we decided we were happy with our progress for the day and, well, we gave up.
We're gonna let this white whale sail for now.
Yep, you heard me right. Some days, we don't end up achieving the goal we set out to, and you know what? That's okay. Although I was a little bummed, on the way out of Seymour, we rode a section of the Boogeyman Trail that gave me some perspective. This harrowing rock section was without a doubt one of the gnarliest pieces of trail I've ever seen, and it made me think back to that time I was out on my first ride with Tommy because, admittedly, my first thought when I saw it was, this is impossible.
This is, if anyone that wasn't a mountain biker came and looked at this section, they would most certainly think there's something wrong, or no, there's something wrong with us in the head. And my mom would probably cry.
The difference this time, though, is I just spent the last 2 days riding tons of things that I never would have imagined doing on my bike. So why stop now? All right, here I go. Wish me luck.
Palms are sweating. Palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti. Yeah, baby. Yeah! I'm done! I'm done! I'm done for the
And
day,
with
man.
that,
I'm done for the
my
weekend.
nerves had officially had all they could take for the weekend.
Woo!
As soon as I called it, my
That's
mind
so
checked out,
exciting!
and I immediately felt a euphoric sigh of relief rush all over me.
Yeah! I'm like relieved that I'm okay. That we're officially done and I can say I lived. What up, dude?
Sure, I may not have been able to complete some of the gnarliest features on the North Shore, but perhaps I gained something more valuable as the North Shore once again expanded my understanding of what I can do on a bike. The real beauty of the North Shore is this place wasn't built for Instagram photos, and it sure as hell wasn't built with Strava in mind. The North Shore was built purely for the fun of it all, and that's what I love about it. During my time riding out here, I was reminded why I fell in love with mountain biking in the first place. When I swing my leg over that bike, push down on those pedals, and venture out into the woods, I get to see the world as if I were a kid again. A world where everything is new and exciting.
Whoa, this is neat.
A world full of simple pleasures and daring adventures. A world where anything is possible.
Oh. Damn it. I had it. Shit. Whoa. Nice. That spot. That spot is so terrifying. That's where I kept just freezing up. I kind of think if we committed, it would be okay, but like, fuck! Whoa! I'm just trying to go too slow. I don't know. I think I'm just looking to the right now. Oh god. Why did I do that? I had it. Yeah. I was in there. Oh. That was good practice.
Yeah. Yeah, that isn't that difficult?
I'm not going to try to turn. I'm going to try to just move the back wheel around.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Come on. No.
Hey, you made it further than I did.
Damn it. I can't let my front get that close to the edge.
No, I agree.
I had it.
Yo.
I should have just gone in. I didn't need to move my tire again.
Yeah, I don't think you did. Just that once looked like it was good enough. Oh shit. Okay. Good bail. All right. All right. Whew.
Right up and over, baby.
Yeah.
I call that the over and out.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, I know. That gets gnarly.
Oh my. Huh. I'm getting in my head with the wet. Oh my god. That's hard. Woo! It's really slick. Oh, oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was the roots, man. The rocks are okay. The roots are insane-o. Oh shit.
Oh.
This spot's so scary. Getting up this is probably going to be the most challenging part. I'm going to have to go all the way around. Ah! Oh god. It's too slick.
Oh shit.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's possible. I mean, it's true, I'm sure it's possible, but I don't think it's smart to do right now because not a drop. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I didn't know if I wanted it. Oh no. What the fuck am I doing? Ah! I don't think I'm gonna do this one. What just happened? I just stopped, I like just had a brain fart. Oh! We're gonna get a clip of this.
It's so awkward. Both trees on either side.
Ugh. Why did I do that? I had it. Interesting, eh? Oh god. That freaking tree! Yeah. So that tree gets you, huh? Focus, balance. Oh shit.